Hi, I'm Teresa and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving some tips on how to read more. So at the start of this year I was still at university and I was actually reading an awful lot of books during a month, and I just wanted to share some tips on how I managed that and how you can do that and kind of keep up with being able to read lots and lots of books, especially now that a lot of people will be going back to uni and to school and to work and such. Okay, so my first tip, I feel like it's slightly controversial and I don't know why, but it is reading in different formats. And so that's physical books, ebooks, audiobooks. Genuinely, the more you can read, the more you will read, basically. So I hadn't read an audiobook before this year, but I've been converted. They're great. They're very good for if you're doing something that doesn't take much brain power, like cleaning or cooking, and you can just have it on and you're listening to the story but you're not getting distracted. That's how I listen to them, and that's how I've gotten through some pretty big books like Prior of the Orange Tree. This folds into my next prompt, which is to always have a book with you, because obviously ebooks and audiobooks are very, very portable because you can just have them on your phone. So they're perfect for reading or listening to on your commute, or having a book you can pull up on your phone if you've got a couple of minutes during the day. It just, you'd be surprised by how much free time you'll have and how much reading you can get done during that time. I used to be able to read about 50 pages a day at university, and most of that would have been just on my phone during the day before I got home and picked up my actual book. So obviously you don't want to be buying even more books and buying audiobooks and ebooks. And so there's a couple of ways you can get them really cheap or just free. So I'm going to talk about them. For ebooks, when you download a book on Kindle, you can download a sample, and that's usually about the first 50 pages. So if you want to start your next physical book, you can download the sample for free, and depending on the Kindle price, or if it's on Kindle Unlimited or something like that, you could just read the whole book that way. And another way is the library. Libraries now have ebooks and audiobooks, and it's very, very helpful. And I also really, really recommend using those services. I've used them a lot, and although my library's not got the best selection, not got quite the most diverse selection, it is really, really helpful, especially if a lot of the titles you're reading are quite popular and common. So that's definitely a resource that's worth checking out. The other one is Scribd. So this is a app where you can read ebooks and audiobooks, and it's for a monthly subscription fee of I think £10. But you can get free trials galore. They've always got them. So I've got a Scribd account, and I'm actually going to leave my link to it down below. If you click that link, you'll get a 2-month free trial, and I'll get a month free as well. And that's not a sponsorship or anything. And don't feel obligated to use my link or anything, but it's there if you want to try it out, basically. Scribd's actually got a really good selection. I wasn't expecting that. They've got, I think, all of Victoria Schwab's books, all of Alice Oseman's books. They've got a lot of queer titles, so they are definitely worth checking out. I've read a lot of books this year through that platform. Another tip I'd suggest is setting out time to read. That can be in setting, I'm going to read for 30 minutes right now, put your phone on a timer and just read for that time. Or it can be just setting out that during a day or during the week you're going to read for X amount of time, and then just getting yourself into the habit of doing that and sitting down and reading. And getting into habits just really, really helps. It just makes picking up a book so much easier, and it's a great way to work around busy schedules and such. Just knowing that you've got half an hour that you can read at the end of the night, and you can do that most days of the week. You get a lot of reading done, and it just gives you time to prioritize doing something you enjoy. Then my other tip was about setting a timer, and I really recommend that for studying as well. I do it for studying. It's the only way that I can study. I just figured why not try it in reading when I was struggling to focus, and it really does work. And with that, I'd recommend putting your phone as far out of reach as you can, out of sight, out of mind, and you just won't be tempted to reach for it. And if you are, then you'll be like, oh, it's over there, and then you won't, and you'll keep reading. That's what I recommend, and it works wonders for me. So, leading on from that 30-minute timer idea is doing reading sprints, and it can be with friends. People do them live on YouTube, you can do them with readathons. They're just a way to read very productively, but you also get that sense of community and doing it with people, and that's also motivating. And it's also holding you accountable. And I just find it a very great way and a very fun way to just read a bit. And it's especially fun if you're doing a buddy read with someone and you're reading the same book and you're about the same point and you can just scream together about it. And that brings me on to my next point. What a good segue. And that is to do buddy reads and readathons and book clubs. They can be so motivating and they're just so much fun as well. And they're also, buddy reads are particularly good for if you're a bit intimidated by a book and you want to read it with a friend, so you kind of can hold yourself accountable or hold each other accountable, and then just also talk about it a lot with them. So, like, I did that with the Priory of Orange Tree with Sasha because it's huge and we were both kind of intimidated by it, and it was just a really fun time. And readathons, you've got that sense of competition and community, and it just motivates you to read so much and to challenge yourself. Another thing, and I think it sounds very, very basic to say, but is to just read books you enjoy. There's no point in forcing yourself to read a book you're not enjoying, and to just know what you like so you don't have to do that very often. So just DNF, abandon a book that you're not enjoying. And that doesn't have to be permanent. If you're just not feeling it right then you can put it away and pick it up again when you are feeling it. But it's just, you don't want to get into that, to lose the habit of reading and to get into a bit of a slump. And then a final goal is to set yourself challenges. So most people will do that kind of Goodreads, how many books you want to read in a year challenge, and I find challenges like that so motivating, and I know that when it comes to the end of the year, I'll be rushing to try and read as many as possible and to complete my challenge. So I try and implement that in the rest of the year, so it's not just in December and maybe January at the start. So I've been trying to get through my unread books, and at the start of the year that was very motivating and I read so many. And now I need to motivate myself to do that again a wee bit more because I'm kind of falling behind. But it's just very motivating and challenging yourself, and I've said all of this so many times this video, but it is, and I don't know any other words. And another way is to try and challenge yourself to read a certain amount of pages or to read for a certain amount of time every day or every week, depending on, your schedule and stuff. So I try and aim for at least 50 pages a day, and I don't get too bogged down when I can't do it because sometimes you just can't. It can just be a good way of setting that habit, and you can read a good amount of books that way. So 50 pages a day for a week, that's 350 pages. That's about, an average sized book. So that's a book a week. Another way would be to reward yourself for reading. So when you read those 50 pages a day, how are you going to treat yourself for it? It can be going and getting something sweet to eat. It can be watching a new episode on Netflix. It can be whatever you want. If that's a kind of structure that works for you, then go for it. If you've got some set books you need to read, like arcs, then what's your reward for getting through them? Like, I've been saving my copy of Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar until I've got my arcs under control, because I really, really want to read it, but I have to prioritize other things right now. So that can be another way, is just saving a book you really want to read until you've got something done, and then being able to just fly through it with no stress and no pressure. It's wonderful. So yes, those have been some tips, but my number one is just get rid of your phone. Not permanently, but out of sight, out of mind. And, turn off the buzzer so you can't hear that you've got notifications, and even turn off your internet or turn off social media notifications, things like that. And it can help you just, not just with reading, but spending less time on your phone all the time, just in your daily life and with studying and such. And it's the only way I can be productive, basically. So those have been my tips on how to read more, and I hope that they're helpful. And yes, so thank you for watching this, and I hope that you're able to read more in the future and that this helps.